After all that I gave to you, you say you wanna start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Baby, I'm grieving, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of it anyway. Sing it if you know it, y'all. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by, just keep on smiling. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you as a child. I've seen it around what this world can do, and it's breaking my heart in two. But I never wanna see you sad, girl. Don't be a bad girl, but if you wanna leave, take good care. Only make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of it anyway. Yeah. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. All you buy, from a smile, girl. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Lord, remember you as a child, as a child. If you wanna leave, take good care. Only make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of it anyway. Yes. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. So you might from a smile, girl. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Lord, remember you as a child, yeah. Ooh, it's a wild world. Lord, remember you as a child, girl. Baby, baby, it's a wild world. Hard to get by, hard to get by. Baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you as a child.
You know what? Let's do it this way. Let's have you point to the back of any car. Just point to one car. Yeah, right. That one right there. You're sure you want that one?
Yes.
And you could have picked any one.
Yes.
Okay. Take a look for me. Don't tell me though.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
All right. Take that card, and we're gonna lose it back into the middle of the deck, just like this. You're gonna do a good shuffle. Right? You know, the two clubs is my favorite card too, right?
Shut up! Shut up!
But it's also funny because with any luck, I can actually control the two to the top, right? That's not the two. It doesn't look like the two because it's not the two, right? The two is lost, right? Which is a joke because I wouldn't be very good if I was able to not bring the two to the top, right? But obviously that's not the two, and that's not the two, right? So where's the two, right? Check this out. Where's the two? There's the two.
Oh my goodness!
That's pretty crazy.
Oh my!
Wow.
You have a card?
No.
He's got 52.
Yeah. I do not believe it. He's good. And what is your name?
West.
Are at the 70th celebration of ACLU of Kentucky. From our area. This is the overflow.
And so, like, I've always taken
What I told her, I said, you don't look at
Welcome and thank you all for coming today and celebrating 70 years of the ACLU of Kentucky. Fighting back and fighting forward.
We have a very special program that's planned for you tonight, and we have a delicious meal that is just minutes away from being served. So start by thanking the folks who made tonight possible.
Yes, speaking of the food, thank you to Marigold Catering Team. Not only are they providing incredible drink and food service tonight, but they selected this event for special sponsorship support. The beautiful tablescape you see in front of you, the drinks you've been enjoying, and more were supported by sponsorships that the Marigold team helped us secure. Thanks to Republic National Distribution Company and for donations of Tito's Handmade Vodka, Hendrick's Gin, Milagro Tequila, and of course, Four Roses Bourbon.
I want to thank the incredible ACLU of Kentucky staff team for their work organizing this special event. Special thanks to my development team and to my comms team. And also, speaking of our development team, not only our current development team, but we have two former development staff that are in the house tonight who helped create the vision for this program and did a lot of work to make it happen. So thank you.
At a time when the military has been deployed to American cities, people are being kidnapped and thrown into detention without due process, books are being pulled off of library shelves, and the government is cracking down on dissent. Our donors have stepped up in a big way to help the ACLU of Kentucky fight back.
Thank you to our sponsors that you've been seeing on the screens throughout the evening. You'll continue to see their names. We specifically want to thank the West family for providing a matching sponsorship. That incredible sponsorship inspired many folks that are in this room to give and to give generously. We are thankful to each of you, and we have many categories of sponsors: constitutional defenders, democracy defenders, liberty sponsors, freedom fighters, and torchbearers for your incredible support. And not only did many of our sponsors give, they also gave tickets, donated some of their seats so that our community partners could attend this special evening at no cost. So join me in thanking our incredible donors.
Hi everyone, I'm Corey Shapiro, the legal director. Legal director for the ACLU of Kentucky. It is an honor to be here tonight with you all celebrating our 70th anniversary. And what better time to celebrate than right after a big win, right? So, as you just saw in that PBS NewsHour clip, a federal judge granted our request for a preliminary injunction in our Department of Defense school book ban case, blocking an unconstitutional attempt to keep books about Black, brown, and LGBTQ Americans out of students' hands and restoring censored curriculum as we continue to litigate the case alongside our sister affiliates in Virginia and our partners at the National ACLU. This victory matters not just because it protects the First Amendment right to learn, but because it reminds us why we do this work Every generation, the government tries in different ways to silence or erase stories. And every time, the ACLU shows up to say, we'll see you in court. That's been our role in Kentucky for 70 years, from our earliest days fighting Carl Braden's sedition conviction, school segregation, to defending reproductive freedom, to protecting the rights of trans Kentuckians today. We've always stood with the people whose voices were being pushed to the margins. I'm incredibly proud of our legal team and grateful for the generations of attorneys, staff, clients, and community members who have built this legacy, which I am privileged and honored to be a part of. None of this work happens alone. It takes courage. I would like to ask my staff, team, and any current or former co-counsel or clients to stand and be recognized for your contributions to this critical organization over the years.
Hi everybody, my name is Kate Miller and I am the Advocacy Director at the ACLU of Kentucky. I see some familiar faces. She, her, and I am so excited to be with you all tonight to celebrate this huge milestone. So while our organization was known as the Kentucky Civil Liberties Union, board members, executive directors, and volunteers lobbied the old Board of Aldermen and legislators in the state capitol. But it wasn't until many years later that I had the honor of being a part of the start of a formal advocacy program within the ACLU of Kentucky. And I know you can't tell by looking at me, but that was 17 years ago. 17 years of sitting through long committee hearings, texting your boss after midnight or your friend, your colleague, to discuss legislation, and reminding lawmakers, sometimes gently, sometimes not so gently, that the Constitution still applies in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. But advocacy has never just been about lobbying lawmakers, right? It's about making sure that the people most affected by the issues that we are working on are able to show up and influence, or sometimes be the ones to write that policy. That's why I am so proud of the work that we've done in recent years to grow beyond our traditional lobbying to build real organizing power. We're training Kentuckians to advocate for themselves, whether it's people returning home after incarceration to pass Kentucky's first felony expungement law, whether it's standing alongside trans Kentuckians and families that are sharing their personal stories and experiences with love and courage, whether it is standing alongside pregnant people while they are passing legislation to make sure that no Kentuckian in the custody of the Department of Corrections should ever be shackled while giving birth. So, as we celebrate 70 years of advocacy, let's also celebrate 70 years of standing up, speaking truth, and moving. It doesn't always feel like it, but we are moving Kentucky forward, one person at a time, one day at a time. And I am so proud. I am so honored to work with everyone on the advocacy team. So please stand up if you're currently on the advocacy team. Part of our team who's ever showed up and shared their story, I want you to stand. If you've called your legislator, if you've been a legislator that's voted alongside us, If you have gone to one of those committee hearings, I want you to stand up. If you have filled out a survey online encouraging your legislator, I see some folks that have spoken some real truths of power, so I need you all to stand up if you've ever participated in any of those activities.
Thank you, Kate, for all your work. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jessica Loving, a former executive director of the ACLU of Kentucky in the late 1970s. And a board member off and on ever since then. I can't believe that we're celebrating the 70th anniversary of this incredible organization. That's 70 years of protecting constitutional rights of Kentuckians, establishing important legal precedents, and working for legislative protections for our civil rights and civil liberties. But it doesn't seem very long ago that Susie Post asked me Susie asked me to be the executive director of the Kentucky, then called the Kentucky Civil Liberties Union. As many of you know, Susie was a moving force for social justice, civil rights, and civil liberties, locally and nationally. Her family, the Klings, helped found this organization, and Susie kept it going. Susie and I worked together as fellow good troublemakers for civil rights, women's rights, and reproductive rights issues for several years before she asked me to be the executive director. The KCLU was a very small organization in those days. We had a tiny office, and the board raised enough money to pay me a very small salary and hire a part-time assistant. But we had an incredibly committed board, just like we do today. An incredibly committed board and several very capable volunteer attorneys. We worked hard to make the KCLU look like a much larger organization. As Amber said earlier, we punched well above our weight, to use the boxing terminology. And I always like that one. I also like the metaphor of the bird that fluffs up its feathers to look bigger and scarier than it is to ward off predators. We did that a lot too. Some of my fondest memories include working with volunteer attorney Bill Stone to win the landmark 10 Commandments case in the U.S. Supreme Court. We hosted the best-selling author and civil liberties advocate, Kurt Vonnegut. Some of you probably are too young to remember who Kurt Vonnegut is, but he was quite a catch. He came here for free and helped us raise money at a big fundraising dinner. And then we represented the Klan, so they could exercise their First Amendment right to hold a meeting in a Jefferson County Parks Department community center. And then immediately after we obtained that right in court, actually we didn't have to go to court. All we had to do was go to the county attorney and say, one of your all's employees denied a permit. That's a violation of the First Amendment. And they went, oh, yes, absolutely. And so we were hoping to go to court, but we didn't get to. But then we organized the protest right outside the community center where they were meeting, and protested very successfully. That particular Saturday morning, my older son, Seth, had a soccer game, and his dad had to take him to the soccer game, so I had to bring my younger son, Peter, to the protest with me, which was a little scary. But it turned out that Peter saved the day, because when two Klansmen in full Klan regalia, complete with their white hoods, came up from the community center to try to start a fight with a young black man who was part of our group, things got really tense. And as I grabbed Peter to get him out of the way, he yelled really loud, "Mommy, Mommy, why do those men have pointy heads?" That immediately broke the tension. We all started laughing, including the two police officers who were watching the spectacle. And the Klansmen just ducked their pointy heads and hurried back to the community center. And felt really good about that. And then Peter told me he had to go to the bathroom. And of course, we had a 45-minute drive back to Crescent Hill. So I thought, a 4-year-old needs to go to the bathroom, or do I want to go brave the Klan? I think I'll go brave the Klan. So we went down so he could go to the bathroom, and I was met by Mr. Kennedy, who was the plaintiff in the case. And he was very happy to see me and wanted to introduce me to his wife and to his friends who were there. And it turned out that there were, in addition to David Duke, who was their speaker, there were 4 other people there. So our protest group was about 10 times larger than the Klan gathering. That was kind of nice to know. That was a Those events are memorable, but what I remember more is the support of so many people who made this organization able to win cases, change laws, and engage in public protest. It's the courage and conviction of that whole community that makes the ACLU of Kentucky the force for justice that it is. We've always been a small but mighty organization, and I continue to be impressed with how Amber and her team have built this organization into the powerhouse it is today. However, the challenges before us continue to be bigger than we are, and the ACLU is always there to stand up for justice and people's rights. Whenever someone's rights are on the line, silence is not an option. Over the decades, as you've seen in the videos, we've stood up for students who dare to speak out about unjust wars, academic freedom, and other issues. And we've represented people whose faith was used against them, women demanding autonomy, LGBTQ plus Kentuckians demanding dignity, and the communities of color demanding equal treatment under the law. And every one of those fights, whether it was in the courts, in the legislature, or in the streets, has moved this nation a little closer to liberty and justice for all. This anniversary isn't just about looking back. It's also about looking ahead, because as proud as we are of 70 years of progress, we know the work isn't finished. It never is. The issues change, the tactics shift, but the calling remains the same. And today we face even more challenges than usual, and the need for our work is more urgent than ever before. Because people know I'm still committed to making good trouble, they often ask me what they can do to combat the current attacks on our democracy. And I always recommend that they join the ACLU of Kentucky and get involved in our action agenda. And I also tell them to donate as much money as they can to support the enormous amount of work before us. Tonight, I want to thank all our donors for their unflagging support. That's all of you in this room and a whole lot of other people, many of whom were listed on the invitation for this event. And I especially want to thank them and thank everybody for supporting this anniversary celebration. I also would like to ask all our current and former board members to stand and be recognized. Some of you already stood up for other purposes. Thank you all. Let's also honor and remember those who are no longer with us. You've seen some of them in the many photos, particularly the black and white photos on screen tonight. They contributed so much to our incredible history. Thank you to all the people who've made the first 70 years of ACLU work possible here in Kentucky.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Stack. I am a proud member of the ACLU of Kentucky Board of Directors, and I chair our board fundraising committee. Tonight, as we honor the incredible 70 years of the ACLU of Kentucky, I'm asking you all to recommit. Keep showing up. Speak out when it's uncomfortable. Talk and organize with your neighbors. And invest in this work. Some of our sponsors said that when they asked their invited guests to come this evening to bring their checkbooks, and now is the time to pull out those checkbooks and pull out those phones. Because we have a goal this evening. We want to bring our total raise for the 70th anniversary to $400,000. Because of you all, our amazing sponsors and early contributions for the celebration of the 70th anniversary, we have already raised $260,000. But we know with your help tonight, we can bring that total to $400,000. And there are several ways for you to give this evening. First, you can use the envelopes on your table and drop a check at the registration table on your way out. You can scan the QR code. If you turn over your menus, you'll see the QR code there. And there are also some signs throughout the space with the QR code. You can also text 70th, like the number 70 with TH, to 53555. That's also on the back of your menu. And you'll receive a direct link so that you can donate. We'll be tracking our progress, as you can see on the screen up there. And please know that every single cent that you give fuels the incredible fights that we've heard about this evening. Fights for immigrant rights, free speech, racial justice, LGBTQ rights, trans justice, reproductive rights, and democracy. Thank you for fighting back and fighting forward.
Good evening again. My name is Amber Duke. I've had the most amazing opportunity to be on the staff of the ACLU of Kentucky for 13 of its 70 years. And it's been incredible to be able to make my own marks on this organization. Storied history is its first communications director, its first deputy director, and 3 years ago become the organization's first Black executive director. So for 7 decades, the ACLU of Kentucky has been standing up for civil liberties, often in the toughest moments and often when no one else would. And here's what I love about our history. The ACLU of Kentucky has always been made up of people who refuse to give up on this Commonwealth. People who believe that Kentucky can be better, can be fairer, freer, if we just keep fighting for it. I had some special guests that were with me tonight and a couple who couldn't make it, a group of Kentuckians who have been in the fight for decades. I've been calling my table all this week in the planning for this event, my Civil Rights Icons table. So I want to recognize, fresh off of her prestigious University of Louisville Alumni Award, Miss Elmer Lucille Allen is here. 94 years old. She's able to make it past 9 o'clock. Also at my table tonight, I want to recognize Miss Rhonda Matthews of the Bishop's Table of the Kentucky Alliance and of course Relay. Mr. Raul Cunningham was supposed to be here tonight, as well as Kentucky Civil Rights Hall of Famer Miss Maddie Jones. They were unable to join us. But yes, please clap. So you can see that my table's pretty iconic. And so I wanted to invite those folks to be here tonight because I stand on their shoulders as I lead this organization. But the ACLU of Kentucky is a better organization for all of the ways that they pushed us over the decades. They really challenge us to hold our civil rights mission alongside our civil liberties mission. And when we didn't get it right, they let us know about it. Mr. Cunningham and Miss Maddie, at one point in the 80s, told people not to renew their memberships to the Kentucky Civil Liberties Union, and people listened to them. So I'm very proud to have been a part of the work to move racial justice to the center of our legal and program work, as well as operationalizing it in our operations and administration. I was inspired by the tireless work of all of these Louisville civil rights leaders, and I'm forever grateful for your support and friendship, so thank you. As you've heard folks at the podium say several times tonight, this celebration isn't just about looking back at what we've done, it's about looking forward at what we still have to do. And of course, we know what we're up against. In recent weeks, when people ask me how I'm doing, I often say, well, democracy crumbling around us notwithstanding, I'm doing okay. But we know that we're facing an unprecedented fight in this country right now. The military has been deployed to cities across our country. Our neighbors are being kidnapped off the streets. Many of our elected leaders are bowing down and quickening the Democratic backslide. And I would be remiss not to acknowledge that as of today, millions of our American neighbors, folks probably in this room, are facing down hunger and are unclear of what's going to be happening with SNAP benefits if they're going to be delivered this month. So these fights are real. People's lives are on the line. We see them play out across the country on our social media feeds and on television, but they are also happening right here in Kentucky and happening right here in Louisville. It's the reason why we need the ACLU. We're not just the ACLU of Kentucky, we are 54 affiliates in a national organization that was founded for such a time as this. We are winning in the courts, winning critical victories like the recent injunction against the military school book bans that you saw information about. We're in the Capitol making sure our lawmakers hear the truth, even when they try not to listen. And we are in communities across this Commonwealth organizing, training, and building power with directly impacted Kentuckians who are leading the way forward. That's what fighting back looks like, but we also have to fight forward. And fighting forward means keeping that vision of the Kentucky that we all want to live in our hearts. We want a Kentucky where every person can make decisions about their own body, where kids can learn, and kids can learn about the truth, where no one has to live in fear because of who they are or who they love. That's the Kentucky that we're building, and it will take every single person in this room and so many more for us to get there. The ACLU of Kentucky isn't just about lobbying or lawsuits. At its core, it's about people who love justice enough to never give up on it. I left my glass, so since I left my glass at the table, I'll ask you if you have a glass to raise your glass. There's not much left in my glass, but raise your glass. It's okay, just a little, when you have those little cutouts in your dress, they grab onto things. So please raise your glass in recognition of how far we've come. Let's keep fighting back. Let's keep fighting forward for another 70 years of freedom in the Commonwealth. Cheers. Cheers. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Please finalize those donations. And I think we do have a final performance. Ben and Scott are going to play us out this evening. Thank you all so much.
You won't be long. I'm gonna need somebody to lean on me. Yeah, I said now lean somebody to lean on. Oh, lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry your own. Say now for